My name's Mark Cooper, and of course we're here for the Digitech Trio. The Trio is an amazing new technology that allows you to be able to have your bass player and your drummer in a box. So imagine I'm looking to create some really fun parts. I'm not sure what I want, but I just have an idea of like some chords. This doesn't act as a drum machine, and it's not a looper. Basically what it's doing is it's reading and analyzing my chord progression. So I'm going to start off here with just a couple of really simple chords. I've got a clean guitar, and if you can imagine just playing simple, you don't have to play fancy, you don't have to have all kinds of syncopation, just play simple chords into it, and then it will do the rest. So I'm going to arm it, and it's ready for me to be able to play something, and I'm just going to start off with 2 chords. Now I can have fun and I can start changing what I do. I go, I'm not too sure I really like this, but I can start changing the variations. Now the bass part and the drum part is just a little bit different. Let's go and shuffle it. Now that's for 2 chords. Let's get a little bit more complicated. What would happen if I wanted to start adding a whole variety of chords? So I'm going to switch over to here to something bluesy. I'm going to disengage and now add a blues style. So I've emptied the memory. Let's switch it again. The whole part now starts shuffling along. Let's add some effects to the guitar. So you can see I've got all kinds of chord progressions in this, and this thing now allows me to start writing the way that I would like to interpret it. But let's look at some of the functions that you can do with this. Let's decide that you didn't want it to be that fast. I'm going to hit my halftime button. So all of a sudden now, it's not changing the character of the bass. It's not making the bass re-pitch and do something weird or the drums sound weird. So I can slow it down, I can speed it up, and it still retains the full quality. The drums and the bass still retain the quality. So even if I slow it down, notice that the bass starts adding more notes. Now let's decide, let's change the style, and let's go to something jazzy. Now I'm going to introduce upright bass, and the drums are going to be more in the style of jazz, so I'll get a jazz tone on the guitar. And I'm going to do some like major 7 type chords. All of a sudden I've got incredible control over something that's that much more complex. And it read all my chords and came up with an upright part and a drum part. Now, if I decided to want to change the genre with that recorded, watch what happens. So now I went to an R&B. The bass is different, the drums are slightly different, but they're still retaining the chord progression. The other beautiful thing about it is that you're actually listening to it through the PA. So the Trio has a jack that allows you to go out so that the fidelity of your bass and your drums is absolutely spot on, going to sound great. It doesn't sound like it's going through an amplifier. But what happens to the guitar player who's an entry-level guitar player who says, all I have is just my guitar amp? Well, what we've done with the jack that's for the jack out into the amp, it will actually reamp the bass and the drums so that the quality is actually sounding good through a guitar amp, which is unheard of. So it really allows you to be able to, even in a small setup where you just got your guitar, you've just got your amplifier and the pedal, you can still allow the drums and bass to sound better than when it would normally sound through a guitar amp, because you wouldn't want to put your bass and your drums through a guitar amp typically. So that's the reason why we have the jack for the PA or for the reamping into an amplifier. But the other thing that's also really unique about this particular pedal is I'm using it with an FS3X pedal, which allows me to be able to change functions. So I can change the variations. So I've changed the variation. Now the bass is doing something completely different. Let's change the variation again. So that allows me incredible control. So with a little extra foot switch, I can arm it, I can stop it, I can change parts and change the variation, and I never have to touch the Trio. So what's amazing also about this is that this allows me for the first time to not only write material and then come up with a bass part and a drum part, but for guitar players that are teaching. If you're a teacher and you're going, I don't want to just teach scales, I want to teach feel. How better to do that than having a really non-static bass and drum part? This makes a lot of sense for teachers that are trying to teach something to a player who never has played, jazz chords or played a lot of scales. So let's take another kind of progression. Let me go to part 2. Part 2, I can put anything I want in it. It doesn't have to be jazz. It doesn't have to be anything like the previous style. Let me show you. Let's go back. So it completely changed back to what I had. And I'm going to change back again. Here we go. We're going to go for the change. As you see, I'm changing again, and it just flipped right back. That's absolutely brilliant. That means I can be playing for hours on end, coming up with all kinds of ideas, and it's seamless. Absolutely seamless. It's going to be out in March, and in this country, it's going to retail quite amazingly, but because I'm actually doing this for fxpedal.co UK, it's going to be probably, let me think, when's the Frankfurt show? When does that come on? April. So I'm sure you're going to be, of course, getting a chance to see it in April, and we'll be out shipping by March. So it'll be out in your country. So go to fxpedal.co.uk and find out more information. Thank you so much.